The Vecara's song. Anna's boots crunched against the forest trail as twilight settled over the trees. 5 months since Charles had ended things. 5 months, and now he was engaged. The news had hit her like a physical blow just 3 days ago. A mutual friend's Instagram story. Charles beaming beside a woman Anna had never seen. A ring glittering on her finger. She'd needed to get away. Somewhere different. Somewhere she could breathe without feeling like the walls were closing in. Her friend Rachel was supposed to come on this trip, but she'd canceled that morning. Work emergency. So sorry. Next time for sure. So here Anna was, alone at a campground an hour from the one she'd visited as a child, walking a trail she didn't know as the sun dipped below the horizon. The cabin she'd rented was a disaster, drafty, musty, with a table that rocked and a couch that sat too low. No internet, no distractions. Just her and her thoughts, which was exactly what she'd wanted, wasn't it? She was a journalist for the local paper, a safe choice, a practical choice. Everything in her life had been safe and practical. And where had it gotten her? Left behind while Charles chose excitement, chose risk, chose someone else. 5 months to fall in love and propose to someone new. 5 years with Anna hadn't been enough to make him want forever. Who was she anymore? Did she even want to be that person, the one who played it safe, who made reasonable choices, who... A low grunt cut through her spiraling thoughts. Anna froze. Her brain took a moment to catch up to what her instincts already knew. She turned slowly. 30 feet away, a brown bear stood at the edge of the trail, massive and dark against the fading light. Their eyes met. Anna's mind went blank with terror. Black bear, stay back. Brown bear, lie down? But it was already moving, not charging, but ambling toward her with the casual confidence of a creature that knew it was the apex predator. She stumbled backward, heart hammering. Her foot caught on an exposed root, and she staggered, trying to regain balance. The bear huffed, closer now. Anna spun and ran blindly off the trail, crashing through underbrush, branches whipping at her face. She didn't see the drop until it was too late. The ground disappeared beneath her feet. She tumbled, the world spinning, sky, trees, earth, her shoulders slamming against something hard, her head cracking against a rock. The wind knocked out of her lungs as she landed in a thick bed of moss and leaves at the bottom of a steep embankment. For a long moment, Anna lay there, stunned. Her ears rang, her shoulder throbbed. Above her, she heard the bear's heavy footsteps along the cliff's edge, heard it snuffling and grunting. Then, after what felt like an eternity, the sounds faded as the animal moved on. Anna tried to sit up. Pain lanced through her shoulder and her head spun. She touched the back of her skull gingerly, tender but no blood. She'd been lucky, incredibly lucky. The darkness was closing in fast now. She looked up at the embankment she'd fallen down. At least 15 feet of steep, rocky slope. Even in daylight, climbing back up would be difficult. In the dark, with an injured shoulder, it would be nearly impossible. Anna pulled herself to sitting and tried to orient herself. Which direction was the cabin? The trail? She had no idea. The forest pressed in around her, darkening by the second. And suddenly the full weight of her situation crashed over her. She was alone, lost, hurt, and no one knew exactly where she was. The tears came then, hot and furious. Not just for being lost, but for everything. Charles, the engagement, the wasted years, the safe choices that had led nowhere, the loneliness that had been her constant companion even before the breakup. She was 32 years old, and she had no idea who she was, or what she wanted, or how to be anything other than the careful, cautious person she'd always been. She pressed her palms against her eyes and tried to breathe through the panic tightening her chest. And then, through her sobs, she heard it. A melody, soft and distant, like a lullaby from a half-forgotten dream. Anna's breath caught. She knew that sound, didn't she? The melody came again, closer this time, and with it came a memory so vivid it nearly knocked her backward. She was 7 years old, visiting the campground with her parents. She'd wandered off the trail chasing a butterfly, just a little ways, just for a moment. But when she'd turned around, the trail was gone. Night had fallen fast. Anna had called for her parents until her voice went hoarse. She'd huddled at the base of a tree, shaking with fear and cold, when she'd heard it, a song like nothing she'd ever heard before. Haunting and beautiful, wordless but somehow full of meaning. Then she'd seen the glow. A creature had emerged from the shadows, small, perhaps the size of a large dog, with fur that glowed like embers in a fire. Its eyes shone like twin flashlights, bright and clear in the darkness. It had approached her slowly, its melody washing over her like a warm blanket. Young Anna had stopped crying. The fear had drained away, replaced by wonder. The creature, she'd later learned it was called a Vecara, though she'd never been sure if that was real or something she'd dreamed, had turned and begun walking. Its glow had lit the forest path ahead, and Anna had followed. It had led her right back to the trail, right to her parents' desperate voices calling her name. When she'd turned to look at the creature one more time, to thank it, it was already gone. Anna's eyes flew open. The memory was so clear, so real. She'd convinced herself over the years that it had been a dream, a trauma-induced hallucination, her child's mind trying to make sense of being lost and found. But she could still see that glow, hear that song, and she was hearing it now. The melody drifted through the darkness, closer than before. Anna struggled to her feet, ignoring the protest of her shoulder. She turned toward the sound. A glow appeared between the trees, soft orange gold, like firelight. Anna's heart stuttered. "Hello," her voice came out as barely a whisper. The creature stepped into view from behind a large tree stump, and Anna's breath left her in a rush. A Vecara. It was exactly as she remembered, perhaps slightly larger, or maybe her child's memory had been imprecise. Its fur glowed with that same ember light, pulsing gently like breathing. Its eyes were bright and intelligent, fixed on her with an expression she couldn't quite read. Its tail, long and fox-like, swayed slowly behind it. The creature tilted its head, studying her. There was wariness in its posture. The rhyme, the one her mother had recited to her after that night, came back to her. In twilight's hush, where shadows play, a tiny guardian comes to stay, with fur aglow like embers bright, and eyes that shine like flashlights light. It senses fear, it knows the heart of children trembling, torn apart by darkness and its eerie sound. But the Vecara's song wraps all around, soothing, calming, reassuring too. Its melody whispers, "I am here with you." A guardian for lost children, and Anna was no longer a child. She took a hesitant step forward. Do you remember me?" The Vecara's ears perked. It lowered its head, sniffing the air. Then something changed in its expression, a flash of recognition in those bright eyes. Its tail began to wag slowly, and the melody it had been humming grew stronger, warmer. Anna's eyes filled with tears again, but these were different. "It's really you." The creature stepped closer, and now Anna could see the intelligence in its gaze, the ancient wisdom. It circled her once, still humming, its glow casting dancing shadows on the trees. When it stopped in front of her, it looked up at her face, then deliberately looked toward the darkness to the left. "Help," Anna managed to say. "Please, I'm lost." The Vecara's song shifted, became somehow more soothing, more dreamlike. Anna felt her panic receding, felt her breathing slow. The creature took a few steps in the direction it had indicated, then paused and looked back at her, clearly waiting. Anna followed. The Vecara moved at a careful pace through the forest, its glow illuminating the path ahead. It navigated around obstacles, fallen logs, dense undergrowth, rocky outcroppings, with the confidence of something that knew these woods intimately. Anna followed in its wake, her shoulders still aching, but the pain somehow more distant, less urgent. As they walked, the Vecara's song continued, rising and falling like breathing. Anna found herself relaxing into it, her mind finally quiet after months of racing thoughts. She didn't have to figure everything out tonight, she realized. She didn't have to know what she wanted from her career or her life or her future. She didn't have to have a plan for moving on from Charles, didn't have to be over it, didn't have to be anything other than what she was in this moment. A woman walking through the dark woods, following a glowing creature that had saved her twice now. The path forward didn't have to be clear. She just had to take the next step. And then the next. The same way she was following this patient, glowing guide through the darkness. Charles had moved on quickly. So what? That wasn't a reflection on her worth or the years they'd spent together. It just meant they moved at different speeds, wanted different things. She'd spent 5 years with someone who wasn't right for her, and yes, that hurt. But she'd also learned what she didn't want. And now she had space to figure out what she did. Maybe she'd keep working at the paper. Maybe she'd try something new. Maybe she'd start small, take a writing class, pitch a story to a bigger publication, finally write that novel she'd been thinking about for years. Maybe she'd move to a new city. Maybe she'd stay exactly where she was. The point was, she had choices, and she had time to make them. The Vecara's song grew lighter somehow, almost playful. Anna realized they'd been walking for perhaps 20 minutes. The creature stopped suddenly, lifting its head. Anna followed its gaze and felt a surge of relief so powerful it nearly brought her to her knees. Through the trees ahead, she could see lights. The cabin, her cabin. The Vecara led her to the edge of the clearing, then stopped. It turned to face her, its glow warm and steady. Anna knelt down slowly, bringing herself to eye level with the creature. "Thank you," she whispered. "Thank you for finding me, both times." The Vecara's tail wagged once more. It took a step forward and touched its nose gently to Anna's hand, a gesture so tender and deliberate that fresh tears sprang to Anna's eyes. Then the creature stepped back, and its melody changed one final time, becoming something like a goodbye. It held her gaze for a long moment, as if making sure she understood she was safe now, that she could make it from here. Anna nodded. "I'll be okay." The Vecara turned and padded back into the forest. Its glow remained visible for several long moments, weaving between the trees, and then it was gone. The melody faded. The woods returned to darkness and the ordinary sounds of night. Anna stood slowly and walked toward the cabin, her shoulder still hurt. She was covered in dirt and scratches. She'd probably have a spectacular bruise on her head by morning. But as she climbed the creaky steps to the drafty, musty cabin with the rocking table and the too-low couch, she felt something she hadn't felt in months. Peace. She didn't have all the answers. She didn't know exactly who she was or who she wanted to be. But she knew she'd find her way. She'd been lost before, and she'd found her way back. Anna opened the cabin door and stepped inside, closing it gently behind her. Through the window, she looked out at the dark forest one more time. Somewhere out there, a Vecara was humming its song, keeping watch over the lost. And Anna smiled.